wanted to share the awareness of talking, as I've been having a little conversation with one's friend, and she mentioned with respects to people from Mediterranean countries, really, and the way they're getting affected by the contamination in the world. It inspired me to say, oh, while it's hot in the oven of my mouth, might as well record it. And I have been going through demonic human attachments, really, in this environment. But I've been fighting them off in my own way, and as I usually do. But let me stay to the point of what I want to say with respects to the contamination and the way countries are getting affected by this contamination. Unfortunately for people from different countries, to English people, this is what made me say let's record this conversation, because I've noticed individuals that are from another country that live in this country, in England, because they're more a tight-knit family community, and they speak English, and they also speak another communication. They're also these countries, because they are a tight kind of clique, these families, be them Turks, be them Indians, be them Africans, Caribbeans. Some of them have quite a tight-knit union together. But because their words, the way they talk, have their own unique way of expression and integrating, it's been given them a sense of confidence, these countries. So Turkish people, Indians, Pakistanis, whatever, they all get a sense of empowering because they've got the way they talk. So if I'm an English brother and I'm around Turkish people and they're talking in Turkish, I don't know what they're saying, because I don't speak that talk. And people that do speak that talk, when I'm in their shop, be it buying tobacco, buying a drink of water, buying a bottle of wine, whatever, they can be talking around me, saying, Kelly's a fuck. You see that fucking mixed race geezer in our shop? He's a cunt, watch out for him, yeah? Thinks he's all that, he does. But I don't know they're saying that, do I? Because I don't speak Turkish. I don't know they're saying, oh, he reckons he's all that one, watch out for him. But what's occurred now in the system, people in the system are aware of that. The government is aware of that the foundation of this country is English. It's not Turkish, it's not Arabic, it's not Caribbean, it's not African, it's not Chinese, it's not Japanese, it's not Russian. The foundation of this country is English. and the technology of the world really is translated into English. Even so, they might make a lot of these computers in Japan or whatever, or China. They have to translate it into a international speaking country. So before these computers started to really integrate with us as humans, and before the phones started to really integrate with us as humans, Turkish people, because they've got a click community, before Corona, they've been making lots of money. The Turks have been making money in so many levels. And so have the Arabs around all this. So have the Indians. And Africans are getting their little piece in, and so have the Caribbeans getting their little piece in. But the ones that speak and talk, like Turkish people do, or Arabs do, Africans, when if they speak and talk, that an English person, like a Londoner, is not in a position to talk, then they've been at an advantage, these people. So Turkish people, Indians, Africans, Caribbeans on one level too, because they speak Patois and they speak their own kind of island talk, they've been taking advantage of all that around the English talking individuals. Because the English talking individuals, they don't speak these foreign talks. So the Secret Service of this country has been clocking to this one, that Turks take advantage of England because they can speak and English people don't know what they're saying, and they can make money around that, and that's been occurring. This is where again I've noticed the way sometimes the system throws letters to the Turkish communities when they owe them bills or taxes, throws it on them because it recognizes that these people I'm throwing this to, they don't really use English as a first communication. These people using it as a second communication, so they can be an advantage because they say they can speak a little English, but they can speak more of their own talk, their own way of speaking. And through this types of behavior going on, the system has now created this type of disease, contamination, call it corona, call it pollution, yeah. But it's associated with the system knowing that it doesn't speak Turkish, it doesn't speak Arabic, it doesn't speak Japanese. And the majority of English people, they're not going to be learning Turkish. They're not going to be learning all these other talks. They don't need to. So, on a majority level, in an inherited English communication system, it's found a way to distribute the technology as usual, but with English material created goods. That way, if I've got a phone and I'm speaking to a person on the phone in Turkish, if the technology, the way they designed it, is written in English, and it is, you put it on, it's in English, the way it's presented to you. And I reckon the other phones are the same. that there's no Turkish. Okay. Well, it's being said to me that they can do it for you. So they may be, okay, they can do it Japanese, they can do all this for you. But even so, say they've done it for me, they've done it to me in another talk, in another communication, and I'm like, say I can read it in Turkish here and it's all that. The majority of people naturally speak English, so it's going to be in English. So the ones that, and even if, the majority are going to be English, but so I might speak Turkish, but I reckon I'm going to have an English phone. I'm not going to have, because I'm living in the system, I'm not going to, what's the word? It's a majority vote, as they say, yeah? It's a majority scenario that I'm going to have an English phone. Even though I might not speak English that good, I'm going to have to accept that as the way it is, and I'm happy with it. I've got this machine. Because of that, and the way the Turkish people are, when you go into their shop, they can be all, even the Indians do it too. Yeah, the Indians do it too. You go into their shop, you don't know what the fuck they're saying. They're all talking in front of you and all that. Could be talking about anything. You can't ask them all, what are you talking about? It's none of my business. It's none of my business, isn't it? So it's their way of showing to the English-speaking person, they've got power. We've got power, man. Yeah, we can speak it in our talk, in your face, while you're looking to buy your tobacco, and you can't say fuck all. Nothing. Just accept it. Only if I've got somebody with me that maybe speaks Turkish, it says to me, oh, they said this and said that. But if I didn't have somebody around me that spoke Turkish, then I would not even know what they're saying, these people. So that's a power a culture's got. Same as the Indians, they've got that power. Indians do it too. Go into their shop and they start all speaking in Indian in front of you. Don't know what the fuck they're on about. But there they are talking like, they show you how powerful they are. How they can run things on you. And the Pakistanis do the same when they sell you the chicken and all that. These Kentuckys nowadays. The halal chicken and all that. It's a fact. They might not tell you it's halal chicken, but it must be if you're a Muslim selling it. So this is what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is, with respect to the pollution and the sicknesses that I'm hearing are entering the Turks, and I reckon other cultures too, because I've seen it advertised. I've seen Indian women advertised on the buses, and without a mask on her face, and the advertising. That's because she stayed home, and because she stayed home, she doesn't have to wear a mask on her face because she stayed at home. We've got a picture of her like outside her house, like. Because I stayed at home, I'm okay. I don't have to wear a mask, me. Look. But what it is in this scenario of the way that they're doing it, the system itself knows that the foundation of this technology is English. It's not Turkish. It's not Indian. The foundation of it being distributed to the whole world is English. So when you're having Turkish people or Indian people or Africans speaking in Turkish or Arab, speaking in Arabic and all that on the phone, acting like it's all fucking good. Like, oh yeah, I'm speaking. It was good in the beginning, doing it, speaking in Turkish on the phone and showing off, like, oh, I can speak Turkish, you don't know what I'm saying and all that. But because of the technological advancing of the technology itself, because it's advancing itself, technology is not going to advance itself in Turkish or in German or in Japanese or in Chinese. It's going to advance itself in English. And as it advances itself, individuals that don't associate the technology with the foundation that is English, then they're going to get mashed up by the sounds of the dialogue that is in the majority. And they're going to get the pollution from the dialogue that is in the majority into the minority people. So you're going to get Turkish people, and I'll say it to you bluntly, getting contaminated. One, because the government knows, the English government knows, they're tight cliques, these people. But they're only tight cliques in speaking their own lands talk. They're not so tight in talking English. So the system itself knows that the foundation of all these technologies is English. And here they are showing off while I'm going in with my fucking girlfriend, my English girlfriend, my English children to their fucking shops. And then they are showing off speaking their own fucking talk. And we have to hear them speaking another fucking talk that we don't know what they're fucking on about. That, for me, is alright. If a person wants to speak their talk, speak your talk. It's another culture, and that's the way it is. I don't see no thing, unless you're speaking against me, I don't know you're doing that, like some people do. Because you don't know what they're saying. They can just take the piss. But with respects to the technology and the way it's advancing, it makes sense. It makes sense that if you've got a technology and it's advancing in a sounding culture that is in the majority, then if you're speaking in another communication, then the majority of the real sounding communication is going to bring you the pollution of what you're not acknowledging in the other foundation. And that is what is happening with these technologies, where people are speaking in another language, say that word, that language, they're speaking in another talk, and because the foundation of the technology is in English, it's making these people sick because of that. Because the roots of this technology is English. So if you are using this technology and you're speaking another communication and your translation with what you're saying is not in tune with the foundation of the English, then it's going to make what you're saying to the person the potential to pollute them, to make them sick. As your words from another communication are not clear with the translation. A friend of mine sent me some prayers, and they were written in another communication. And I text one's friend, and one said that without the clear translation into English, it has the potential to be contaminated. Through the lack of clear clarification with what's being presented in another cultural expression of sound. And this is the pollution that's in the environment. And the way to help this type of scenario is for people that do speak another language to not show off, basically. Don't forget when you're on the phone talking to a person, don't forget that the phone that you're using, the foundation of this phone is English, and not your own culture. This is the mistake, and this is the pollution that's entering these cultures. The English created technology, on a distribution level, is constantly advancing, constantly improving, getting new ways to distribute itself, to sell itself, to prostitute itself. And it's not going to prostitute itself in English. In Turkish or Japanese or Chinese or Russian. It's not going to prostitute itself on that level. It's not going to sell itself on that level. It's going to sell itself as an English technological power. That's where when you have Turkish people or Indian people or Africans or Japanese or Chinese speaking on their phones, even if they've created them in their own culture, because of the modernization of the technology into English-speaking individuals, then that's where the technology is going. That's where the technology is, here we go, healthy. We have people that speak Turkish and Arabic and Indian and Japanese, Chinese, etc., African. You see them on the phone, yeah? And they speak like it's healthy. Like it's healthy speaking Turkish on the phone. Like it's healthy speaking Arabic on the phone. That type of over self-confidence with this technology is what's making people sick. You can't be telling your mum in Turkish emotional stuff you've been going through and all that on these phones, because the foundation of these phones are English. We learn by mistakes. These are new technologies. We don't know how to figure them out. We're just expressing ourselves in them. These are new toys for us. Nobody's going to be educating you how to use the phone. You're going to have to figure it out yourself. But if you don't know if you're not really aware of yourself, how you are spiritually, like a lot of these people, they just use these phones for business. They use these phones to make money from them, or to entertain themselves with these phones. That's the way they see these technologies. They don't see that these technologies are the foundation, or they're created for people to use them that speak English, really. They're not really created for people that speak African, or speak Arabic, or speak Japanese, or Chinese. They're created for people that speak an international communication to make it easier to talk, to make it easier to communicate all over the world. That means if you do happen to be speaking Arabic or Turkish on these phones, you have to be more careful. But they're not careful. They speak on these phones like it's presented to you in Japanese data or Turkish data as a foundation. And it isn't. The foundation of it is English. And this is where the companies that make these phones know that the foundation of it is English. And now, the way they're going to do population control and start to kill people off. Oh, surprise, surprise. Is it Turkish we can kill with these phones? So let's be it. We didn't know. We thought maybe it was the Africans we were going to kill with these phones. Oh, we are going to kill the Africans with these phones. But we're going to have Turkish too. We're surprised. We didn't know that. We didn't know that our technology has also the power to pollute Turkish-speaking people. And it has. As because Turkish-speaking people are emotional, they're tight-knit community, they've got a tightness to them. That tightness in this type of technology is polluted. It has the potential to pollute you, to make you dirty. Speaking your own communication with your own culture, because your foundations are not clear. In the olden days, you'd say I'll be speaking on the phone, on the wire phone, on the wire one, and you say to a person, you know what? Why don't you pass over to see me? I don't want to talk on the phone. That's in the old days, with the wire there. So even in the old days, so you might be saying something to somebody, and you might say to them, you know what, pass over to see me because I don't want to be talking on the phone about this. That's with the wire phone. So if now we're in an advanced phone where we've got no wire, then if you're saying something that is better said in person to the person than on the phone, and you're not doing that using the phone because you are, then you're opening yourself and to that person you're talking to get contaminated by the hidden odors, smells of a culture that speaks this through this technology with the material on it in English as a majority. That's the reason Turkish people are getting sick, because they speak on these phones like they're speaking to the person there with them, or intimate stuff, and God knows what they're saying in their own culture. And that brings the pollution into their own culture from a technology that's got no foundation at all in what they're saying out of their mouth. No relation at all. The phone in its own presentation doesn't relate at all to what the person's saying. To the phone, the person's an alien talking through the phone. There's no connection. I can't be speaking, say, in my own Mediterranean tongue to a person in my own Mediterranean tongue, and then as I'm talking to them, look at my phone and go, oh, it's written in Mediterranean. Even in my own Mediterranean tongue. So I can't be speaking to my father in the country where I'm from, and then look at my phone and it's written in the same type of dialogue that I'm talking to him in that country. So if I'm an Indian and I'm talking to my sister in India, she's not even at her phone. She's not going to be looking at Indian presentation of what the phone is. even though you've got millions and millions of people in India, and they're part of this technological distribution, but it's distributed in English. So even so, I might be speaking to my sister in India in Hindi. The technological foundation is internationally English. That's what's creating the pollution, and that's where the system of this foundation is taking slow advantage of all this by knowing people are either too arrogant, too self-assured, like the Turks are, to care about that. They don't care about the foundation's English and they'll speak in their own, even they're speaking Turkish, they're speaking Arabic, they're speaking Russian, they're speaking Japanese, Chinese. They're not caring of the actual foundation. You've been talking in Turkish for an hour to your sister. But the majority of people that are using these phones are not only speaking in English, but also the foundation of the phone is English too. So all you're doing is polluting the person you're talking to on the phone, because you're not connecting with them without the phone. You don't go and meet them and then just talk to them. You just give a little bit of it. All right, I'll talk to you. I'll see you soon. I don't want to talk too much on the phone. They don't do that. They keep on talking and talking on these machines. And that's what's creating these types of dirt into these cultures. And I'm saying this on a future reflection to these countries like Turkey, and I'm saying to them, if you look at yourself in the future, Turkey, can you really be talking to your sister or to your brother for an hour on the phone in Turkish? Can you really do that? Knowing that the phone that you're using, the foundation of it, is not Turkish at all. It's not. So stop pretending, stop acting like it is. Indians are doing it. Africans are doing it. Yeah. They're all acting like these phones, they made them themselves. Like they made them. Like it's their fact, it's their. If you put the phone on, it's got nothing to do with their levels. But they're acting like it has. And because they're acting like it has, it's polluting them. It's making them sick. And deeper foundations of these technologies the way they're seeing it, get with our level of respecting that we're the boss. Respect that we're the boss, or we'll make you sick. You will even see it entering your frequencies, and we'll kill you if it comes down to it, or we'll send you to our hospital. The way it's going on, and they're not clocking to it, because when they're sick, these Turks or these Indians, what do? Oh, I'm not feeling too good, Oh, yeah, what's up with you? They're not speaking in English, they're speaking in Turk. So, a healthy phone is hearing a person in another dialogue saying to a person they're sick on the phone. On the phone saying, this is your world. Why are you bringing this sick world into my world? This is your world. Why don't you just tell your friend on the phone, in your own dialogue, there's no foundations with this phone, that you're sick and you want to go and see, that you're not feeling too good and you want to see them. Why don't you respect me? That's what the phone's saying. What do you have to put all your shit into me? And then put it and then send it to your friend and then tell your friend and all this and create all this pollution. So this is what's happening with this technology, where it's being practiced in that way, and it's creating this type of hidden sickness through these cultures not using their discrimination to be more careful with what they're saying. More careful with what they're saying on these machines, and not take it for granted like you invented the phone yourself. The way they're doing. Grown up individuals, I see them, be them Turkish or be them fucking Indian or African, grown up individuals talking on these machines like they've invented them and it's an easy distribution. It's not. It appears to be an easy presentation of these technologies, but really they're not. And to watch people out there in London using these technologies, Africans using them, and Indians using them, etc., etc. I mean, say if I'm a Japanese guy and I've got a phone in Japan, then they're going to have the presentation of the culture there, and I can just, it's all part of the same pot, the same cooking pot. But if I'm a Japanese guy living in England and I've got a phone with the foundation of the way the technology is here, then I'm not going to have all the data in Japanese for me unless it's part of the culture that brought it in that for me in that way. But even if I did have that, and I was Japanese and I had the Japanese type of technology here, I'd have to take note that I'm in England, and I have to be very careful how I'm speaking Japanese, because it's going to bring the pollution not only to Japan, but also to this country here, by the way I'm going on, the way I'm talking, the way I'm saying what I'm saying. This is what's brought these types of sicknesses into the environment by the overuse of these technologies with their own cultural expressions, without taking note that this is a different culture that has got a social system that is free, but also has guided principles of how to express yourself in that freedom. And individuals that do speak another communication, be it Turkish, Indian or African, they haven't got that freedom as an English person has, speaking through these technologies. Again, even the English people, if they're over confident too, it can stink up the phone with that one. Because say I'm an English person and I speak on the phone, I can say, oh, it's all right for me to do what I want. I can talk all day on this, as I've seen English people do. They can talk all day on these phones, especially if you can see a person. So that's another way the English get tangled up to it, where they know it's the foundation of it, the distribution of it is English, so they get more relaxed into talking from it. But the English are not clocking that here I am talking to my mate and all that, oh, how you doing? Yeah. But there are Turkish people speaking on the phone. Somewhere else. There are Arabs, Chinese, Japanese, Russian speaking on the phone. So there you are talking to your friend in English, and you're quite confident because the phone is a majority vote distribution of English. But if you don't respect that while you're talking on the phone, there's also other people talking Arabic, Chinese, Japanese and all that, then you're going to bring pollution too. And different types of pollution. A type of pollution where you overconfident. So the English get sick, like we've seen the English getting sick by this corona and all that, because they're too overconfident on the phone. They're over it. So if you're overconfident, you get sick because you're overdoing it. You overdo too much. So that's another way they mash it up. And this is where the Indians are getting sick, because the Indians see the English people talk on the phones and they feel, oh, look how confident they are. They can talk and talk, and they reckon they can do it because the English can do it. They can do it. When they're not, the Indians are not realizing that this technology, you can't just talk on it the way you do. You got to speak. This is futuristic. What I'm going to say now. You got to speak technological communication. The majority of people don't speak technological communication. I suppose I'd say the ones that do speak technological communication are the ones that created these machines. And that's a secret code of talk that they do. So the ones that create these machines, I'm sure they speak their technological communication. So a person might say a word that is technological, that another person that is technological would understand. But I don't understand it. I don't understand what they're talking about. But they understand each other because they've got their own technological awareness of the way they've created these machines. So that's the real quality of awareness that hasn't been properly presented to people that use these machines, where they're quite immature with the way they behave with these machines, and they say a lot of stuff on the phone that is better said in person. And these types of repetitive, interactive scenarios happening is what's bringing more unexpected off balance contamination in the environment.